Hey everyone, welcome to GardenFork. That started on the first pull after sitting for quite a while because I do regular maintenance on the generator. So today I'm going to show you my fall tune-up that I do. It's really simple. If I can do it, you can do it. Today in GardenFork. Ready? Here we go. First thing you want to do is heat this puppy up because we're going to change the oil. So let it run for about 10 minutes. You want the oil to become, is the word viscous? Move it around. You're going to try and stir up the sediment at the bottom of the crankcase and generally warm this puppy up. Then take it in a dry place because it's raining out here and we'll get to work, okay? I always like to try and elevate this thing before I work on it. It's a little bit easier on your knees that way. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drain out the oil, put in a new oil filter, and put in fresh oil. So we start with that by draining it. I had a little piece of pipe on here that makes it a lot easier to drain this oil. I've got a plastic milk carton and a funnel to drain this out. Okay. This is going to be hot, so be careful, okay? Maybe you should wear some gloves. If I had some. Oop, there we go. Clean that off. Clean off a little bit of that drip. I really like this little pipe I added on here. Take your used oil, see how dirty that is? That's been running your engine, to one of those instant car lube oil places or your local garage, and they will recycle this for you. I'm pretty sure it's almost in every state, that's a law. Don't dump this in the yard. Don't dump it in a creek. Don't just throw it in your trash because this is bad stuff if it gets into the dirt, okay? So we're going to put new oil in here, but first, make sure this funnel is clean because any dirt that's in the funnel is going to go into the oil and then into your engine. And the whole idea here is to clean stuff out of your engine, not adding stuff into it. So, use your ubiquitous, is that a word? Paper towel. Clean this puppy out. All right? Oh, and check with your engine manufacturer about what weight of oil to put in here. It varies depending on who made the engine, but it should be in a little manual that came with it. Clean. It's like a magic trick. Take our cap off. Don't lose this. Put this somewhere where you can find it again. It might roll away. Learn from me. And then a funnel and your oil. It's much cleaner oil going in there than it came out, isn't it? So see how it's just coming out like that? That is the perfect height of your oil level. And because you put your cap in a special place you wouldn't forget, this goes back on easily. Don't force this. You can cross thread it easily. Just finger tight and a little more. Now we're on the opposite side of the engine and we're going to take out the oil filter, which is this black round thing here. I put some cardboard under here because it's going to drip when we take this off. You can use the oil filter tool or you can use some channel locks. The idea here is not to crush the oil filter. Maybe one of your neighbors has the oil filter tool that'll fit on there, but we're going to try it with this, okay? Okay, that's not going to grab. Nope. All right, I thought this would work, and it won't. I'm going to go see if my neighbor has an oil filter wrench. It'll slip on here. There's a couple of different kinds. There's a kind that's kind of like a cup that grabs on, and there's a kind that's kind of like a strap that straps on. So give me a couple minutes. If I don't come back, it's the next day, you'll know I had to go buy the tool. Ready? All right, it's the next day, as you can tell, and I have the proper tool now. I just went and bought one because no one had the right size one, but these are really handy to have if you have a lot of small engines like this, okay? This is in a tight spot, but a lot of small engines are like this. I mean, you got to fit a giant generator on here as well. Some oil is going to come out of here, so I put a little bit of cardboard underneath here to catch it. More than a little when you start talking as you're taking that off. So just keep that and point it up like that. And then pour this into the same little container that you have your waste oil in, and clean up all the stuff that is now falling down there. Make sure this is nice and clean. So take a thin film of oil and spread it on the seal of your new oil filter. Then hand tighten this puppy, okay? And then put our wrench back on here the opposite way. And I go hand tight and then half a turn. It depends on the instructions here. Trying to get that in there. It's very tight. All right, we've got the oil changed. We changed our oil filter. We tightened it down. Now we're going to change out the spark plug. I pre-order a spark plug, and then I make sure I have the right spark plug socket, because there's about 3 different size sockets for spark plugs. So make sure you have the right one, or maybe your neighbor does. I mean, these little sets are pretty inexpensive. I'll link in the show notes to one you might want to buy. In here, we have to disconnect the spark plug wire and then remove the spark plug. Pretty simple. I'm going to lift this up with a screwdriver. There we go, came right out. That is out. Here's the tip of our spark plug. Put our socket in here. Get that to engage. This isn't a difficult place, but your fingers can get in here. It takes a minute to get this puppy out of here. And there we go. Wow, that is in need of replacing. Here's our old spark plug. Here's our new one. Be sure to gap. There's the spark plug gap here. Is the same on the old one that is on the new one. The gap is between the electrode and the contact here. Okay. And then this goes in. Remember, righty-tighty. In other words, clockwise to tighten. And then tight, and then just like an eighth of a turn, like that. You don't want this too tight, or else you can snap the threads. It's a bad thing. Now, learn from Eric. Put the spark plug wire back on before you try and start this thing. Okay? Learn from me. More than once, I have forgotten to reconnect the spark plug wire, and then I'm like, or I forgot to turn the on switch on, and I'm like, anyway, it's just stuff like that happens, but that is pretty much toast. I do this every fall, and again, recycle this oil. Don't just dump it somewhere, okay? Take it down to the gas station or your quickie, jiffy, oil changey, lubey place. Now it's time for the air filter. Easy peasy, goes in, but this actually makes a big difference, and you'd be surprised how dirty these things get, especially with lawnmowers. By the way, we have a lawnmower tune-up video. The link will be at the end of the show or in that eye in the sky thing here, and also in the show notes here. I'll also link to all the parts I think you should buy. There'll be a list in the show notes here. Okay? Here's some signs of mice. They've come in through the air intake hole and tried to make a little house here. That's a bad thing. Maybe I could put some mesh over that. There we go. There's these little grabbers for the foam on the inner cover here. Hey, really important note here I didn't do in the shooting of this. You should always be using treated gas in your small engines. That's the reason my generator starts on the first pull. Is I have 5-gallon gas cans. Whenever I fill one up at the gas station, I use a gas stabilizer product. There's a number of them out there. Pick which one you like. But it's amazing how that will just help your engine run and not have problems. All right, we've changed our oil. Changed our oil filter, changed our spark plug, make sure it was gapped properly. Put the spark plug wire back on, and we changed the air filter. Now we're going to fire this puppy up and run it for a couple minutes, checking for leaks, and then we're going to top up the oil because some of the oil is going to go into the filter and stay there, and our oil level will drop in the engine. We're just going to top it off, and we're done. And then we just peace of mind for the winter. Set your choke, give it a pull. Definitely that oil should be level right here, and it's down. a little bit, so we're going to top that off. Nice, huh? Didn't take that long. Just remember, recycle your oil, breathe. It's not too hard. The biggest thing is finding the correct parts, because the engines, get the engine number and the model number of your generator. I'll link below to some places I like to buy that kind of thing from. And you're good to go. So if you got any thoughts or questions or comments about generators or the world in general, ask me below. I also talk about transfer switches. We made a video about that. Wow, that was an acorn. We put a manual transfer switch in the house, and I answer questions about that as well. Links to that are at the end of the video here somewhere, or in the show notes below. So make it a great day. See you later.